Hello everyone, and today we're talking about IELTS speaking. And I'm sorry for my voice in advance because I'm a little sick, and I hope it's not a big deal for you. And on today's IELTS speaking introductory lesson, we're going to discuss questions regarding the format. When do we actually take the test? Is it on the same day with written part or on a separate day? What are we expecting from the test? What are the examiners expecting from us? And many more frequently asked questions that I will be answering today. And speaking of general format, the first question on our agenda, how long does the speaking last? I would say here at least 11 minutes because the standard is like up to 13 14 minutes, but it can still go a little longer and up to 18 19 minutes. It really depends on the candidate because with more obvious candidates, what do you mean by obvious? When the examiner is pretty sure about the band score, the test is never going to be long. But with more interesting candidates, like I would assume with more high achievers, part three especially can be a little longer because when it's unclear, is it, for example, 7.5 or 8, and the examiner will have to ask a couple of more questions. So part three can be longer. That is why the general test itself may be a little longer. Is the speaking test on the same day with written part? With CDI tests, it is usually on the same day, but actually you can choose the time and date while registering, especially in IDP. But there are not too many choices. It's either the same day or the day before. And make sure you check your emails before the test because whatever you're registering at, British Council or IDP, they sometimes change the date due to some reasons, due to their own reasons, and they will like email you the day before or a couple of days before. Make sure you check and you don't miss this information because if you are late by any chance, if you are late for the test, you will not expect a refund. This is completely on this is your responsibility. And will I be recorded during the test? Yes, you will be recorded. If you are uncomfortable with it, you'll have to get used to it as soon as possible. Because just in case you are dissatisfied with your test result and you want to appeal, and this is totally fine to appeal on this test, of course, for half price of it, but you can still appeal. And the only evidence of your performance is your recording. And your recording will be listened by a different examiner, which raises your chances to get a different score. And if you get a different score, like a little higher, it's never lower. You can get a higher score, or just score will not change. And the former situation will get you a refund of this half price that you paid for an appellation. Yes. Now let's talk about parts. The speaking is in three parts. The first part is all about questions, common but specific personal questions about you, like daily life. Are you a student or do you work? Your preferences, and many more. It's gonna take 4 to 6 minutes. And if you ask me how long should be my answers in this part, I would say 3 to 4 sentences. But it really depends on your speed. Because if you're a slow speaker and you are having 3 to 4 sentences in your answer, it's gonna take you time. And usually examiners interrupt at this case and just continue with a different question. And the question that you have for part one, can I prepare for the questions in advance? Actually, yes, you can prepare for them because the questions are pretty similar, but they might change during seasons because time goes by. So that is why they can include different topics and more specific ones, for example, colors, mirrors, and many more. But you can see all those questions on websites, forums, or training apps. So that is why, yes, you have the chance to prepare for them, but not never learn them. Okay, never learn them by heart. The next part is part two. It's a cue card. Here, the ability to speak at length is the most important. So it's like a storytelling exercise because you'll have to describe a situation when something happened, or a place where, a person who, or a thing that, or which. So it's a storytelling exercise. Why do we actually need this part in speaking? Of course, part one and part three is pretty clear. One is about myself, and so on, and part three when they ask for my opinion. But why do I need part two? What is the purpose of this task in IELTS speaking? Because this is the only task that showcases your ability to speak at length, that you are able and capable of speaking for a long time, non-stop, like a monologue, about a certain topic and one thing. For example, if they ask you to talk about one phone, you'll have to talk about only one phone. Like the iPhone, only iPhone, not like talking about five different models. Focusing on one thing, specific topic, and being able talking about it for a long time. This is the exact thing that they are expecting from you. So yeah. And do I have time for preparation? Yes, of course. You will have your 1 minute preparation time and you can make notes on a paper. And this means you can write notes, not sentences. Because some people write whole sentences what they're gonna say, like how do they wanna start, but you don't have much time for it, only 1 minute. So just write the keywords or some specific vocabulary that you would like to use and the things that you wouldn't like to forget while you are speaking, because while you're speaking and you'll be given like up to 2 minutes for speaking, you might forget some stuff. So just to recall it, you can look at the notes. And when I say up to about 2 minutes, it doesn't mean that you have to speak exactly 2 minutes because you don't have watch, you don't have your phone there. Only examiner can tell you to stop or to continue. Kinda, they don't usually say continue. They just ask follow-up questions if you just stop before the time. So speaking 1 minute 40 seconds, 1 minute 30 seconds, 1 minute 45 seconds, it's still fine, even if it's not exactly 2 minutes. But just stopping after a minute, it's a problem because the task itself asks you to speak at length. So that is why speaking only, for example, 1 minute or 10 seconds, it's a bad news. You'll have to train more. You'll have to get prepared to it. So that is why examiner will tell you what to do next. If it's enough, they will just warn you it's enough. And as I said before, if you stop earlier, you will be asked follow-up questions regarding the topic, and so the examiner can help you to speak about the topic a little more to fulfill the time. Part 3. Part 3 are the questions which are longer, a little more complex and general. Not about you, not about kind of your experience, but general questions, and they will be related to the part 2. For example, if you talked about computers, technology, I don't know, some platforms, apps in part 2, part 3 you can expect topics about technology itself, technology development, AI, like something related to it. Is part 3 more difficult? Yes, I would say yes, because the questions cannot be predicted. You never know what the question exactly is going to be. Even if something similar to what you've heard before is there, but it's never going to be the same question. Also, questions depend on your previous answer. As I said before, for example, the first question of part 3 can be this way, and you answer it on kind of way. the following question can change regarding your answer. So it's not a script. And the examiner himself or herself decide what is the next question gonna be. And the next question, can I ask the examiner to repeat questions? Of course, yes, you can ask, but not too many times. And please, in a respectful way. So yeah, say please. Can you please repeat the question? If you don't understand something, can you please paraphrase it? Or be okay with asking questions, but not as an interview because the examiner is taking interview from you. Don't ask opinion of the examiner or anything else. No personal questions at all, but you can ask to repeat or paraphrase or what do they mean by the certain part of question, but not too often, please, because if you ask, can you please repeat too many times, the examiner might assume that you don't understand in general, that you don't understand English. Do I need to give personal opinions in part 3? Personal opinion, personal view related to the topic is okay. It's fine, totally fine, but not too personal examples and not all the time. For example, if the question asks, what do children like to watch in your country? You don't say this and that, but I like, or my little brother likes, and so on and so on. It's too specific, too personal. These, remember, these questions are general. So that is why your examples should be generalized, kind of a two. Can I disagree with the question or the examiner? Yes, of course you can, because general part 3 questions are opinion based questions, but you'll have to explain yourself. And yes, people's opinions tend to be different sometimes. And here, for example, if the question is about environmental problems like global warming, and the question says, um, global warming is a hot topic nowadays, and humanity has to deal with it as soon as possible, for example. But you disagree with the point, and sometimes you say crazy things such, um, actually, global warming is a natural process, and summer's being a little hotter year by year is a normal process too. It's not a big deal. We can still live with it, and so on, so on, so on, so on. So it's some kind of crazy thing. So your examiner wouldn't expect that, and I mean, opinions may differ here. Just explain yourself, and it's fine as long as you can prove your point of view and support your argument. It's not a big deal. Yes, you can disagree with the statement or the examiner. Moving on. What are the examiners expecting from us? It's it's related with 4 criteria that you will be assessed with. Fluency and coherence. Let me have the pink one. Fluency and coherence, lexical resource, grammatical range and accuracy, and pronunciation. This is band score explanation criteria given supported with Cambridge, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. What do they mean by fluency and coherence? Fluency is continuation of your flow. So you are able to speak fluently, and coherence, it's logical connection between your ideas and sentences. So you speak clearly and fluently. Yeah. You are able to continue your flow. Lexical resource is how big is your range in lexis? How well are you using topic related vocabulary? Um, can you sufficiently describe something? Is your vocabulary precise enough? All of these are related to lexical resource. Grammatical range. and accuracy. It's not only about grammatical mistakes. Accuracy point, yes, your grammatical structure should be used on point, like in a correct way, but also range is here. So, what kind of structures are you mixing complex and simple sentences? Are you using inversions, some cleft sentences? All of these will be concluded into grammatical range. And of course, pronunciation, because pronunciation is ignored sometimes, but it's very important. Accent is okay here. You are not evaluated for your accent, but you are evaluated with your pronunciation. And I don't actually recommend to have a strong accent and mispronunciation in your speech because it will hold back your pronunciation score. That is why it's better to train your accent anyways, because if you notice many English speakers in general, the people who are in language for a long time, they still want to have native like speaking, native like pronunciation. So that is why it's a point actually where you have to think over your consideration of speaking in a native like accent. Because with strong accent, you can just a little bit kind of a fail in this part, which will hold down and hold back your whole general score. So be careful. Just pronounce the words in a correct way and try to still train your strong accent if you have one. We're going to talk about fluency, coherence, lexical resource, grammatical range, and accuracy in pronunciation. All of these four criteria separately in a different lesson, which will be included in your private video lessons. For today, that's all. Hope it was pretty useful.